In October of 2010, Microsoft launched a mobile operating system called the Windows Phone 7 series to replace their previous mobile efforts, Windows Mobile 6.5. That name would eventually be shortened to Windows Phone 7. When it was revealed, it was clear that this was unlike anything Apple or Google was pushing. From the live tiles on the home screen to the beauty of its typography and simplified icons to the use of hubs, Windows Phone was looking for users who appreciate finding what they need without having too many button presses. What are some features that made Windows Phone 7 different from iOS, Android, and Blackberry in 2010? The most obvious differentiating feature would be live tiles. Instead of static icons, which we see on iOS, Blackberry, and Android, live tiles would display information about the app it belonged to. For example, the email application would display how many unread emails were in your inbox, or the messaging tile will display the number of unread text messages. This is a common feature these days, as icons on iOS and Android will display this basic information. But live tiles could also display news headlines, the weather, calendar information like upcoming appointments, and in the case of the Zune music app, the artist photo that is currently playing. While Android did have widgets which could perform similar functions, live tiles were a two-in-one solution. It provided information while pressing it would launch the app it represented. There was the Metro design language of Windows Phone. As Microsoft defined it, Metro is modern and clean, fast, and in motion. It's about content and typography. We saw this design in other products from Microsoft before Windows Phone. Windows Media Center, Zune devices, and their Zune desktop client. They put a heavy emphasis on text as their means of navigation. The text came from the content you were using at the moment. This allows less clutter and gets you right to where you need to be. And instead of scrolling up and down to get around an app, Metro utilized a landscape design, relying on swiping left or right to navigate the phone and apps. Another emphasis of Metro design was its use of flat imagery. Most icons used a single solid color with little to no shadows or gradients. Then there were hubs. Hubs organized several apps' content into one location. For example, the People Hub combined information from Facebook, Twitter, and Windows Live into a timeline, which you could then comment on or like as if you were using the app from which that information came. It was in the People Hub that you found contact information as well. The Pictures Hub had photo albums from Facebook, OneDrive, SkyDrive at the time, and gave you access to the photo editing apps on your phone, all in one location. These hubs made navigating your phone and accessing information faster than hopping in and out of apps. There were a series of commercials called the Windows Phone Challenge, where Ben Rudolph would challenge people to see which phone was faster or more efficient. It always ended with a Windows Phone besting an iPhone or Android handset. Windows Phone 7 was far from perfect, as there was some important functionality missing from the OS. The biggest missing feature was copy and paste. Microsoft fixed that with the No-Do update, which was released in late winter, early spring of 2011. The other missing major feature was app switching, otherwise known as multitasking. That feature would finally arrive in mid-summer of 2011. You simply do a long press on the back button and app cards would appear. This feature was part of the 7.5 Mango update, along with 500 fixes and new features. It was a huge update. In the summer of 2011, the CEO of Nokia, Stephen Elop, showed off their first Windows Phone at a private demonstration, and in October of that same year, he officially unveiled the Nokia Lumia 800 at Nokia World. It was a striking device because of the unibody design and AMOLED screen. It also came in colors rarely found in smartphones, cyan and magenta, although you could get it in black. The lower-tiered Lumia 710 was also unveiled. The Lumia 800 was released in November with Windows Phone 7.5. At the Consumer Electronics Show of 2012, Nokia showed off the Lumia 900. Like the Lumia 800, it could come in cyan or magenta, as well as black and white. It too was a unibody design with an AMOLED screen. Microsoft and Nokia would eventually partner on Windows phones, which would allow Nokia to customize the software and include much of their own. Steve Ballmer, the CEO of Microsoft during this time, was known for his affinity of consumer products like Xbox, and unsurprisingly to folks that follow Microsoft, he pushed the Windows Phone hard. We saw elaborate advertising campaigns like the giant Windows Phone assembled in Herald Square. It was a memorable sight as the giant live tiles would fold away to reveal guests talking about their app or Windows Phone in general. Microsoft also paid folks like pop star Katy Perry to throw free concerts in order to advertise Windows phones. Even deadmau5 got in on the act with a concert advertising Nokia Windows phones, though this was a collaboration with Nokia, not Microsoft. And there was a commercial for the Nokia Lumia 900 with Saturday Night Live alum Chris Parnell, which joked that iPhones and Androids were part of a beta test. In October of 2012, Microsoft released Windows Phone 8, which was based on Windows NT, whereas Windows Phone 7 used Windows CE. As a result of this, no Windows Phone 7 device could upgrade to Windows Phone 8. For those not willing to buy a new device, Microsoft offered an upgrade to Windows Phone 7.8, which gave users a lot of the cosmetic changes found in Windows Phone 8, including the option for smaller tiles and 4 tiles to fit across the entire screen. Windows Phone 8 brought quite a few features that were lacking in Microsoft's previous efforts, such as support for multi-core processors and near-field communication to tap and send files to other phones. Kids Corner allows the owner of the phone to pick which apps their kids can use and prevent kids from getting into the owner's account. The Camera app now allows developers to add features to the camera through a feature called Lenses. Once again, Microsoft tried bringing the big guns from the entertainment industry to advertise Windows Phone 8 devices such as Jessica Alba, Gwen Stefani, Andy Samberg, and NFL player Cam Newton. We also got to see the infamous Apple vs. Samsung commercial, featuring the Nokia Lumia 920 in stunning red and yellow.
The Windows Phone Nokia Lumia 920, Engadget's Reader's Choice Smartphone of the Year.
In August of 2014, Microsoft released another big update by way of Windows Phone 8.1. This brought some changes and many new features. The Dialer app, where you could make phone calls, included the option to turn the phone call into a video call, with the included Skype app. The lock screen now allowed individual apps to customize the look with more options. A big feature that was long overdue was a swipe-down notification center. This became known as the Action Center. Besides displaying notifications from apps, it gave you access to basic features of the phone like Wi-Fi settings, airplane mode, and Bluetooth. The biggest feature to come to Windows Phone 8.1 is Cortana, the digital assistant. Cortana was named after the computer AI character from the Halo video game series. Cortana could make phone calls, transcribe outgoing text messages, alert you of incoming text messages, set calendar reminders, and search via Bing. Like other digital assistants, Cortana had basic conversational skills. For example, you can ask how Cortana is doing, and she will respond. With Windows Phone 8.1, users started seeing less of the hubs or integrated experience on the phone. There were 2 reasons for this. 1, developers for the major apps like Facebook and Twitter want users using their app directly. And 2, by not tying the app experience to hubs, Microsoft didn't have to get updates out to the operating system as often. In September of 2003, Microsoft announced they were buying Nokia's device and service business for close to $8 billion. The deal was finalized in April of 2014, 2 months after Ballmer stepped down as CEO of Microsoft. With Windows Phone biggest cheerleader Steve Ballmer no longer calling the shots, it was the beginning of the end for this mobile operating system. New CEO Satya Nadella did not care for the Windows Phone division of consumer products in general. He wanted to appease the stockholders, and the most obvious way to do that was to raise the stock price. Sadly, one of the fastest ways to do this is by cutting the size of the company through layoffs. Having a division that grew very slowly and didn't make much of a profit didn't sit well with Nadella, and he found a section of the company to eliminate. In July of 2015, Microsoft wrote off $7.6 billion from the Nokia acquisition. As a result, 7,800 employees were laid off, most of which were in the devices division. Microsoft would actually evolve the mobile operating system more with the release of Windows 10 Mobile. The company claimed that all Windows Phone 8.1 handsets were eligible to upgrade to the new OS, but for the most part, that depended on the wireless carrier. We're not going to look at Windows 10 Mobile because the operating system was not as special or different from iOS or Android. Yes, it still had live tiles, but much of the landscape design The Metro-style apps we come to appreciate in Windows Phone was missing from Windows 10 Mobile. As for the downfall of Windows Phone, there are many things we can point to. Apps were the biggest problem. Microsoft had the major apps in its marketplace, but there were still many missing, and the ones they did have were lacking many of the features found in their Android and iOS counterparts. Microsoft tried to lure developers to the platform, but they weren't interested. This was most likely due to its low popularity. The highest worldwide market share the OS would get was just 3%. Another problem was wireless carriers. They didn't stock many Windows phones, if at all. The store would be littered with Android handsets and iPhones. How could a consumer be persuaded to get a Windows phone if there was only one handset in the middle of 20 Android phones? In the end, Windows phones showed us that smartphones can be more than just clicking in and out of apps. Windows phones gave us color instead of silver or black slabs of plastic and metal. It made smartphones more personal to the user.